It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Another fine day, little chilly. I think this was the last, I think this hopefully is going to be the last minus 20 night in the Ottawa Valley, but hopefully it's like that for everybody here that's tuning in, except, of course, Donnie McCaskill being up in Nunavut. Anyone else up that way, I imagine you're going to have a few more minus 20 days yet. But, as we get ready for all the trades that are going to happen here, I thought that I would have a look at a prospect that I hadn't viewed in a while, in part because his stats haven't been great this year. And I thought, he must be taking a step back, and maybe he's not a top 10 prospect in the organization right now anymore. But after having a look at him here, he's definitely in the mix there. The Canadiens, the more I look at it, there's got to be at least a dozen real legitimate NHL prospects in the system. And I mean, when you consider that, there's got to be a dozen already on the team under 26. There was somebody on Twitter today saying, well, why go after Connor Murphy? He wouldn't have made much of a difference. And, the Canadiens, Bob Raw's going to do magic with a second-round pick, and you don't want to it's going to be tough for second-round picks over the next 3 years to ever make the Canadiens, just because there's so much good young talent on the team and in the system. I mean, the first-round pick is more likely to make the team. There's at least a dozen really legitimate prospects in the system. Like a top 5 pick from the Habs still hasn't cracked the roster in David Reinbacher. So, by the way, yes, Connor Murphy traded to the Edmonton Oilers for a second-round pick. Geez, I'd offered a second-round pick all day for Connor Murphy. I think he was exactly what the Canadiens needed. Somewhat disappointed by that news today. I don't know. I guess, well, the Oilers are 9 back of the Canadiens, right? And as it stands right now, it looks like Montreal's pick wouldn't be as good a second-round pick as Edmonton's. So I guess if you're going off of that alone, you could say, okay, I don't know if Montreal even inquired about, and if they offered a second-round pick, if Bowman got back and said, well, we got a second-round pick from a team that's below you, so can you sweeten the pot? And they said no. Or I have no idea if they were even in conversations with Chicago about it. But I mean, I would have been, and but the fellow was saying, like, Montreal making and they do their magic with the draft. Well, you see, Owen Beck is having trouble cracking the roster right now, and he was a 33rd overall pick. So, the odds of a second-round pick, no matter how magical the scouting staff is, even making the team in the next 5 years is iffy at best. So, I mean, I'd be willing to trade a second-round pick right now without hesitation to pick up a veteran right defenseman who's averaged over 19 minutes a game for his career. He's big, he's physical. Edmonton made a nice pickup there. I like what they did. They needed to do it, but that's a really nice ad for them. And we'll see come playoff time. But that's the considering the Zach Whitecloud doesn't appear to be on the up for sale here by Calgary, then for me, Connor Murphy was probably the guy that, among players that that are going to be available. He was near the top of my list. So, I'll admit that I haven't been watching him real closely this year. His ice time's down. He's playing 16 minutes, so I guess there is a bit of regression in his game. But I would have paid. I'd have paid the second round and a prospect for Connor Murphy, and either the Canadiens didn't talk to him at all, or they weren't willing to do that. One of the two. But anyway, I wouldn't have given them a second and Adam Engstrom, but I don't know if this means that they're going to be quiet. I think it might mean that they're going for the bigger fish, but we'll see. We'll see. I think Edmonton needs a lot more than Murphy. Yeah, that's probably true, Ken. Hey, we're getting a good turnout already here. Quite a few people on X tuning in. Hop on over to my YouTube, HabsCast on YouTube, and join in the live chat here. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. By the way, I've got 49. I'm too short of cracking 4,500. I got 4,498 in subscribers. So hit that subscribe button to you tonight if you can. And I'd love to see it. I'd like to see it over the 4,500 mark. Well on our way to 5,000 subscribers, hopefully before the end of the season. But yeah, back to this prospect. The numbers, as I say, haven't been great. So I hadn't been really looking at him. I hadn't had a look at this player since the fall. He's playing in Europe. Signed a contract with the Habs last year. I think you might know who I'm talking about, and it is Vinny Rohrer. He's only got 4 goals and 7 assists this year in 38 games, which isn't great considering that he had 15 goals, 10 assists last year. So I figured his game must have, stalled this year and that he's regressed. But I did view his last 2 games. He has scored in his last 2 games. So, thinking, well, okay, let's have a look here. But he was good the entire match, both of them. Talk about competitive. I just love his competitiveness, and his skating has improved so much since I know Vinny Rohrer well because he played for the 67s, and of course I live in Ottawa, so I saw him a pile in his draft year, and I know a few NHL scouts that were pretty high on him. It's funny, Trevor, who ended up, he got fired that year, so he didn't scout for like 3 or 4 months. Like, he didn't scout for the rest of the season, but I know early on that year he was quite high on Vinny Rohrer, and as it turned out, Marty Lapointe and Serge Boisvert and Nick Bobrov and company ended up drafting him, so they liked him too. I questioned. I thought he was a smart player. I thought he had a decent compete level to him, but I wasn't sure about the skill level for a kid that's like 5'10 and a half, maybe 5'11". Wasn't really sure. Actually, he's probably closer to 5'10 than 5'11. So we'll say 5'10 or 5'10 and a half. But when you're that size, you want to see a pretty high skill level. And for me, Rohrer, I mean, it was decent, but it needs to be elite. And in particular, I thought his skating was just okay. Well, over the last 2 years, he's really, really improved that. He's playing in the Swiss League, which is one of the faster and more skilled leagues outside of the NHL. Like I put them right up there with AHL, KHL, SHL as far as skill goes. A lot of former NHLers playing in it. It's very good hockey, and Vinny, for whatever reasons, Zurich won the championship the last 2 years, right? And they also won the Champions League in Europe last year. So he's won some championships, but this year they've taken a step back. They're not as strong a team, and for whatever reason, Vinny his production has not been. Put it this way, it doesn't match what I saw the last 2 games. So, but what I see and what I hope you see when I show you the video here is a guy that can help Laval. Definitely help Laval down the stretch here. He signed a contract with the Canadiens, so he's on loan to Zurich. So he'll be coming over. He'll be coming over at the end of their season, and it doesn't look like they're going to go on a long playoff run, but their season ends a lot sooner than Laval's. So I expect to see him definitely by playoff time for Laval. And I think he's a guy that will be in the lineup and will help Laval. This guy goes all out 100% every shift. I'm really, really impressed by how competitive he is. I thought he was, he worked hard in his draft year again with Ottawa, but just like his skating, the compete level has really made a jump for me. So let's have a look here at Vinnie Rohrer's last 2 games. Okay, what happened there? Whoop, I clicked it ahead. Okay. Sorry, folks. I want to get this. It's not letting me do it. I want to make the screen bigger. Okay, we'll start at the start. I'll just have to watch it in a smaller screen. What I noticed right off the bat was just how crazy competitive he is. Someone forgot to tell him that he was 5'10", because he thinks he's about 6'3", but you'll see in these clips. But his skating has really come along, and showed lots of skill in this too. Okay, here's a block. Look at him. He just zipped away from the defender, no problem. But like, his skating has come a long way. He gets the puck in the corner here, gets out, look, and belts that guy down. Big defenseman too. So that's a nice assist that he picked up there. That was all him on that one. So he had 2 goals and an assist in these 2 games. You'll see here, he's only been on the ice for 26 goals against this year. So 0.63 goals against per game, which is outstanding. Anytime you're under a goal per game, that's really good. And I mean, his ice, it's not like he's not playing. He plays a fair bit. There he was on the PK and they scored, but I mean, I wouldn't blame him on that. Again, threw another hit. I don't know how many hit the guy again. I don't know how many hits he had these 2 games, but it'd be close to 10. And it went to the net. You know, he's not afraid to wins the race to the puck in the corner. I just in both of these games, I just saw good play after good play, be it smart, be it hustle, be it speed. Here again, gets to the puck, right? Nice sauce over. A guy unfortunately couldn't convert, but just nice play after nice play in both these games. There is again causing havoc. He could be a real pest AHL. I think he'll be going there after. And, you know, when I look at Laval's lineup, I probably don't like maybe 6 or 8 guys more. But I could see him being on the third line and really contributing this spring when he comes over. I'm looking forward to it because I think he can help. I also think his game is suited for North America with his competitiveness. It's off the charts. Look at him sprint after, get right to the guy, and then go over to the other guy, hit him. Too bad they cut it off there, but he's really improved his skating. He's now well above average skating at the Swiss league level, and that's a fast league. Here he is cross-checking a guy in the corner. Battle. He really battles. I like how he back-checks too. He's not, you don't ever see him. I like how he straddled the line there. Came in on the play. Again, he's going up against big defensemen, but look at he beats him. And then just keeps battling. That guy should have got a penalty on that play. Almost tore his head off. See how he battled back and got the puck out? Again, just never quits. Really dog on the bone after the puck. I really, in watching these 2 games, I'm a bit flabbergasted as to how his stats are so low this year. Look at this play. Smart, eh? Protected, kept the guy off him, got it back to his defenseman. That was very smart. He may not, like I say, he may not be putting up the stats so far, but he's obviously played a good 2-way game. And he's not going to hurt you out there. That's what I like most about him. Like the coach, Pascal's going to love this kid. I'm positive of it. I know Mark Crawford did, and they've got a new coach there, and they're not as good. And I think maybe he's not real. The new coach isn't maybe that on the ball. Because what I'm seeing here, he should be playing top 6 all the time. There he knocks another guy down. Here he nice smart play. Got to the puck, went one way, turned around, lost the guy quickly, and then quickly dumped it up the boards to his teammate to get it out. I loved how that was just smart. Again, went to the net. Not afraid to go to the net. Gets the puck here. Nice deke. Good play. Gets the puck. Gets the puck on net and a good rebound, but teammate wasn't there to convert. I just don't think his line mates are, too terrific this year, and that in part has something to do with why stats aren't great. Look at this, the block. Gets away. That was showed that earlier, but it was worth putting up again. And then battles the guy, comes out, gets the puck over, crunches the guy, ends up getting the apple. I loved that whole sequence. And then here's the second game against Lucerne. Very good team. But again, look at the hustle. Really, really hustles good. Well, here he comes. Nice deke, but he didn't quite get away from the guy. But you saw the lateral agility there. That was what impressed me on that play, even if he lost the puck. Here he is back in his own zone. Look at the speed, eh? I tell you, he didn't. If he'd have skated like that in Ottawa, he'd have been a first-round pick. And again, got back. This whole thing, like, I can't believe he still had that speed at this point. He was the friggin' zooming out there 3 ways, up the ice, back down the ice, and back up the ice again. So he's got good stamina, obviously, too. Here, nice puck skills. Look at the first 3 steps. Explosive. I like how his and part of it was, like, in his draft year, he was September 9th birthday, so he was second youngest player in the whole draft class. So he had to get stronger, and he's still, like, right now he's 21. And there he gets involved on the physical end of things. He's just 21, so playing, as somebody mentioned here, young players don't get major roles in the Swiss league at that age too much. So it's a veteran league. Yeah, couldn't get almost had a good chance there. Here he again, look at him for his size, eh? He crunched that guy into the boards. Him a couple more summers putting on, because obviously he works hard in the off season, because we've seen major strides from him physically the last 2 years. Give him another 2 years. I'm really looking forward to it. I think, well, I'll get to it after, but I think there could be NHL potential with this guy, just given his speed and competitiveness. It's high. There's a nice little move. Got it back to the defenseman. Got the shot off. So decent skill, good smarts, competitiveness off the charts. Look at him go here. And took out the defenseman. I love it. I just he's my kind of player. If you're smart, work your ass off, skate like that, at the very least, this guy's captain material at the AHL level someday. But I think that there's NHL potential with this guy. There was a cheap shot when he got right back up. He didn't miss a shift. Over it, hits the guy. Gets the puck in behind the net here. Look at that, eh? Keeps rolling. He's got nice edges. That does not look like a guy that's got 11 points this year, does it? Freaking best player on the ice these 2 games. So maybe he was battling an injury earlier in the year. I don't really know. I'll see if I can't get a coach maybe on and try to somebody from the Swiss league. Look at this. I loved that play. I'm going to back that up a bit just to see the burst. Like, his first 3 steps are really good. Right here. Check how quick he gets. Like, that's he'll definitely be able to keep up at the NHL level if and when he plays. But then again, finishes checks, right? He, the kid thinks he's 6'3", I think. I love it. I really do. So one of the better, I've looked at a lot of Habs prospects this year, and one of the better 2-game performances for me. I just, I'm high on compete. If you compete, you can play, and this kid is all compete. So there he was on. They won the game. They scored at the end, but he was still working his bag off there right to the end. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think, but I see a guy that can really help Laval this playoff. Like that's the kind of player you want at playoff time. He's not gonna cheat you any shift. Every shift he's friggin' going, and hitting, and doesn't matter how big the other guy is. Like there's a lot of Lane Hudson competitive. I see Lane Hudson compete in similar kind of size too, with this guy, So anyway, I was pleasantly surprised, and I think Laval, Laval needs some reinforcements for the playoffs. I think that they're going to be. They should probably win the North Division. They're certainly leading it, but other teams will be adding players as it goes along here, and I think that Rohrer will definitely be brought over, and he'll be staying for good. He'll come over to Laval for the playoffs, and he will stay in North. He's here for who knows how long, hopefully a decade or more. And it's good that he's already been over too, right? He played a year of Canadian junior, so it's not like he has to make a complete adaptation to the North American game. Austrian born, so someday we'll see him playing with our buddy Reinbacher on the Austrian, probably in a World Championship or maybe an Olympics someday. But he was on the wing in these two contests, but he's taken 293 draws in the Swiss League this year, so he plays a fair bit at center, so he's versatile in that way. Another righty, that's not ideal, and as some people have said, like maybe he's a trade option too. Yeah, I mean, there's only so many spots, and certainly in the bottom six, he doesn't bring size, right? But the competitiveness, it's the compete that's the most important in the bottom six, and the way he works and skates, he's gonna get points. He's gonna get points at wherever level he plays, just because of his work ethic. Like there's enough skill there that he'll be able to chip in some points while being a pain in the ass against other teams. So I think you got to kind of just not focus on the point totals this year. The skating keeps improving. He's competing harder and harder all the time, and get him over to Laval, get him playing. Maybe Beck, playing with Beck. I could see those guys being a real tough Beck, Davidson, Rohrer. Just a freaking balls to the wall line that could create havoc in the defensive zone. Play well defensively, give an honest effort every shift. I'd like to see that trio. I think they could be really, really tough to play against come playoff time. So by the way, Dennis Bernstein is going to be on with me tomorrow. So I'm gonna throw out the Patrick Laine to LA scenario to see if what he thinks of it. If LA is indeed gonna add, and if they do add, is Patty Laine somebody that he thinks would interest them, and maybe he even has some, he's got some insider information usually, so maybe we'll get a nugget or two from him concerning Patrick Laine. So tomorrow afternoon, pregame show, Dennis Bernstein will come on, and I'll set the table for the San Jose match. Maybe I'll do it. I might do it at this time tomorrow night too, because the game won't be till. That might make sense. That I just I'm going to start doing a few prime time here. More people are around, and seeing that the Canadiens play. What is it? I haven't looked, but I assume it's like 10 o'clock start tomorrow night. Maybe I'll do it at 7 or 8 again tomorrow night. I'm going to tape the interview with him and set up the game pregame. It's kind of nice doing it close to game time, because then lineups and you can talk about it and all that stuff. So yeah. Let's get to a few comments here. Kenny Pedro saying that Jesse Habs Digest was saying offering Reinbacher and Hage for Thomas, wanting to keep Shirowski. Yeah, I would definitely not do that. I wouldn't offer either of them, actually. Let alone both. I mean, I don't like maybe Hage, maybe. But you wouldn't be offering much more than that. If they absolutely insisted on Hage, it would be like, okay, Hage for Thomas, and not much more. Like, it would be, that'd be the only way that I'd consider having them pry Hage. It wouldn't be a first and Engstrom and Hage or something like. No, I wouldn't bother, because who knows? 3 years from now, Hage might be better than Thomas. There is that possibility. So what if Engstrom ended up being top 4 defenseman for them? The first round pick ends up being a stud. Trade wouldn't look too good in 2 or 3 years, would it? But is Reinbacher? No, off the table altogether. Well, you guys know. You guys know what I think of that. Big right defenseman that's going to play 20 minutes a night and going to be a shutdown right defenseman, 6'3", physical. I mean, the Canadiens plan on making noise for a decade here in the playoffs, and David Reinbacher is just exactly what they're going to need. There's no way that they are trading David Reinbacher to anybody. He's basically untouchable. The only thing, Sidney Crosby would be the only player that you could perhaps convince the Canadiens to trade Reinbacher for. That'd be it. I can't see anyone else, Minus 13 in Nova Scotia. Don can keep the minus 20 stuff. Yeah, there you go. Suzuki spoke to me and said he'd be surprised to see any huge moves made by the Habs. Not that the players are always in the know. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what, did he just come out right out of the blue and say it? Like somebody asked him, right? Like it's not like Suzuki went up to the media and said, oh, you know, somebody asked him, did they expect any moves? And he answered, right? The captain's not going to say, oh, yeah, frig, I hope half the team gets dealt here. We really need reinforcements. Like he's not, you know what I mean? I don't put a lot of stock in that. I don't expect him to say anything besides that, you know. But I mean, huge move, and you can't even define huge move, right? What's a huge move? Like trading Line, that's not a huge move. Dealing for like a Toropchenko in one deal and a I don't know, a veteran right defenseman in another. Would those be huge deals? No. Trading for Robert Thomas, that'd be a huge deal. But I think we'd all be surprised if the Canadiens traded for Robert Thomas. Not shocked, but surprised. So, yeah, he's not saying anything that, earth-shattering there. I think they're patient and calculated. Habs fans are all about now. Yeah, pretty much, right? I think it will be quiet for the Habs this year. Maybe, Simo. I don't. I think this is a year where they finally do a bit of buying, but there's not a lot for sale, so always end up being a little underwhelmed. It seems like, oh, this year the Habs are gonna. Oh, this year and then they never do. Yeah, I'd like to see them move Maine's contract, but if they do that, you got to think that it's to make another move, right? As Simo says here, the Swiss League is not an easy league for young talent. No, it's not. Excuse me. No, that is true. It's not an easy league, and we saw that with Reinbacher, right? It's a veteran league. A lot of former NHLers, Andrew Ghetto, and all those guys that played that are playing even on his own team. Mulligan, Yannick Weber, list goes on and on. Poirier? Okay, who's talking about Poirier? Cephal Cave, are you 9 pints in again tonight or what? Where does it say Poirier? Do I think he's got value on the trade market? Yeah. Rohrer? Well, he might. I tell you, if anybody's looking at those games, I hope there's a couple of NHL scouts from other teams checking out those games because he's impressive. Playing with a few more NHLers, former NHLers. Yeah, Aberg's there, Yannick Weber, Mulligan, Andrighetto. Yeah. What did you say about Jesse Poirier? Can I? Oh, Jesse Poirier. Oh, okay. You mean okay? I'm thinking of Justin Poirier. What the hell? Okay, Jesse. Yeah. Well, yes, he's talking about. Is there another Jesse on Habs Digest? Yes, it'd be Jesse Poirier that he's talking about. Rohrer could be ready when Galley is gone. Maybe, eh? He brings that type of brings that type of heart, you know. Not giving up the farm for Thomas. No, you don't. Rohrer has a lot of spark. If he makes NHL, I think it would have to be on another team. Well, maybe. I don't know. When I see, you know, I see guys in the bottom six a lot of nights that don't bring that spark. You need guys like that in the lineup, and yeah, maybe it'll be on another team because the Canadiens. But again, we don't know. Let's see the trade deadline what happens here, and let's see in the draft this year coming, and you know acquisitions over the next year or two. Maybe the Canadiens will have a big lineup in a couple of years, and you know Rohrer would be well insulated. So it's ever evolving farm system and roster, as you know. I mean, the turnover in the last 5 years. How many players that were on the Habs 5 years ago are on the Habs today? Like it's less than 5, I do believe. You know, wouldn't be more than 5. It's not going to be 18 guys aren't going to be gone 5 years from now from this club because you know there's a lot of it's a lot better lineup than 5 years ago, but and younger, but you know there's always turnover. As the captain, Susie can't say anything other than what he said. He has to believe in his teammates. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, folks, start. I'm almost caught up in the. I'm almost caught up here. If you're on X, and there seems to be 872 on X and 46 on YouTube, come on over, join us. Give us your opinions here, please. Everything's welcome. You know, it's a huge part of this of the HabsCast is the fans. It's kind of like it's the bread and butter here, right? I mean, I consider myself just a fan, just like everybody else. And you know, I'm one of you guys, so we just have fan conversations here. Disagree every now and then, and all that, and that's all part of it, right? Can't all be agreeable on everything, but you know, hey, there's Wayne. Wayne showed up. Name your player on who we are going to get. Well, Connor Murphy. Oh, Terry got him instead. Tell Terry that. Tell Terry it's his fault, Wayne. But that's who I wanted. I mean, I wouldn't mind Stamkos. I wouldn't mind, but it looks like he's not wanting to go anywhere. Thomas, I wouldn't mind having, obviously. Toropchenko, I think Toropchenko would be a great ad. 2 years from now, I want Thorpe on one side, Toropchenko on the other, the twin torpedoes. And then, you know, Fleury and Jacky in the middle. And just go guys. The twin torpedoes and the missile in the middle. and just go and bomb other teams' fourth lines. That's what I want. I know you don't want to hear me say that I wouldn't mind getting Michael McCarron, Wayne. I know you and I have had those conversations before. I wouldn't mind trading a Struble for White Cloud, something like that. Yeah, well, Calgary isn't trading White Cloud. I don't. He's not apparently on the market. I mean that. I actually White Cloud. I even wanted more than Murphy, but from all accounts, he's not. The Canadiens would have to pay, and it would be more than Struble. It would cost, you know, because they're not looking to move him. You would have to pry him out, and so it would be, it would have to be an offer that they couldn't refuse. I don't know if Kent's ready to do that or not. I think he should go for it. I think the Canadiens, name the last time the Canadiens overpaid at a trade deadline. If you can think of it there, and I mean overpaid, when have they been big buyers? Even when they got Vanek, cost them a second round pick. When they got Kovalev, what was it, a second round pick? They didn't overpay, right? When's the last time the Canadiens at trade deadline overpaid and went for it? Well, sometimes, a lot of cup winners over the past 20 years, at some point at trade deadline, overpaid. Like the 2 years Tampa won cups, like getting Coleman and getting, they paid a hefty price for guys multiple times. Tanner Jeannot, remember how much they paid to get Tanner Jeannot? And they just, but have they been at the top of the league the last 5 years? Yeah, won 2 cups. I think Calgary would want a lot more than Struble. Yeah, they would. And they just traded for him too, You can add a third. I think Struble has a few years left. You can add a third or something. Yeah. Again, no, that's not gonna get you. That's not gonna get you White Cloud. Struble has 1 year left in his contract. RFA status, I don't know about. No, he wouldn't be RFA for another 3 years, probably. At least 2. Do I think? Well, it's obvious, Simone. And I discussed it last podcast. 9 teams are out of the playoffs. 23 are in. There's your answer right there. 23 that are in the mix to make the playoffs. 9 that are out. And even a couple of those may even be. Just a fan, sure. Grant, how long did you scout for? How long have you been writing about the Habs? Oh, well, yeah. Well-informed fan, Mark. How's that? At the end of the day, I'm a Habs fan. I have been for 55 years, and that kind of triumphs. That kind of triumphs over everything else. Trumps everything else. Have you given up on McCarron idea, Grant? Well, no. I guess this came up just before I mentioned him. No, I just know that Wayne want to hear that. The Shen brothers, yeah. Luke, I saw Luke again last night. The guy, he Doug Murray would give him a run in a race right now. I don't think. No, not Luke, but Braden, yes. O'Reilly, yes. there are a few names like that. Ryan O'Reilly, but he's slow too. And Ryan O'Reilly has a reputation for being rugged, and he rarely ever hits. He did have he had a great playoff 5 years ago. I don't know. Matthew Olivier, I don't find him to be a very good hockey player, and I think that they're looking for hockey players. How many teams have won cups in the past 5 years with the toughest player in the league? The last 10 years, it doesn't. It doesn't win you cups. It wins you macho contests. Oh, we won another fight, but does it win you hockey games? I don't know. Like Nick Delorier. How many playoff games has Nick Delorier played? He's the toughest guy in the league. How often has he taken the team to glory as the toughest guy in the league? He's played 5 playoff games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 seasons. No, well, okay, not 14. 13 seasons in the league. Played 5 playoff games. Toughest guy in the league. Matthew Olivier, how many playoff games has he played in? How many teams has he led to the promised land? You know what I mean? It's fun to have a guy that can beat up other guys, but I don't know. Matthew Olivier, what does he bring other than being able to beat other people up? Is that that's Kent Hughes and saying, well, we want to have the best fighters, for the playoffs. He's played 5 playoff games in his career. Matthew Olivier, 5 playoff games. 8 goals, 9 assists. I don't mind Matthew Olivier, but I don't think he's available. Columbus is going for it, right? They're hottest team in the league in the past month. The month leading up to the Olympics. As Wayne says, O'Reilly, it's a possibility. We cracked 1,000. 944 on X. Please hit the like button if you're on X. Even if you don't want to stay on X, hop on over. Do me a favor, hop on over to HabsCast and hit the like button. I'd love you to actually join in the live chat too, but do what you have to do. I think it's fun to speculate on all sorts of players, but I really have no idea what they have up their sleeves. Yeah. Well, I think they're going to be kind of sellers and buyers, if that makes sense. I think they're going to try to get rid of a couple players here because they have too many, and then also try to fortify, upgrade on guys that they're getting rid of. You misguidedly still think they're in the race. Well, what are they, like 2 points out or 3 points? Why would that be misguided, Ken? I don't know. If I was 3 points out of the playoffs and I'd won 12 or 14, I don't think I'd be misguided thinking that you could make the playoffs. They showed the lineup the other night. Like Kent Johnson sat out, but I looked at the lineup and they got a pretty solid lineup. Like, it's not that bad. They're winning 4-0 tonight over the Rangers. Live standings, Columbus is what? They are 3 points out of the playoffs. They're going to win tonight. They'll be 3 back with 23 to go. I don't think it's misguided at all. I like their lineup. They, I mean, if they were trading the guy that I'd be, Boone Jenner would be the guy that I'd want. But I don't see them. What's that say to the fans? What's that say to the team? If you're 3 points out and you're the hottest team in the league in the past 15 games and you sell, can't see it. Can't see it happening, Ken. I just can't see Hughes giving up our top prospects. I don't see him giving up Fowler, Reinbacher, Hage. Probably not Pickford, but maybe. Reinbacher, Fowler, Hage, definitely, I think, are off the table. Jarosky, probably not. Although, I mean, if you got a big fish, if there was possibility to get a big fish and he was the guy they wanted, I would trade Jarosky for like Rod Thomas, for instance. But it'd have to be, not a rental of any sort. You're not trading Jarosky for a rental. But the big three, no, I don't think they're going anywhere. Panthers and Leafs have to do something. You mean sell? You mean? Like they're not making the playoffs. Detroit beat Nashville today 4-2. Why were they playing in the middle of the day? Philly and the Leafs are tied 1-1. Go Philly, go. Dvorak scored another one. Christian's having a half-decent year in his new locale. The former whipping boy of the Montreal Canadiens. I bet you the only thing I can guarantee you is that he didn't smile after he scored the goal. Could this be the year they go for it and overpay for Thomas? 4 assets, including Hayes, worth it. Yeah, no, I don't think they. No. Did you just tune in, Tony? Because I talked about that specifically. That if they want Hage, it's going to be Hage for Thomas, basically. You're not getting a lot more, and St. Louis probably wants more. So there's not enough room for all our prospects. I agree. We should go get us the players we need. Big right D and a physical winger or two, or really go for it with Thomas. Yeah, I'm with you, Kyle. They're just, you can keep making draft picks and keeping all your draft picks, but when you've got the youngest team in the league, when 14 of your players are 26 or younger, when you've got the best top 5 prospect crops that aren't playing in the NHL, and you've got all your picks, there's just math. It's just the math tells you that they can't all make it. So you have to start dealing these assets to try to upgrade what you already have and be true contenders when you're third in the friggin' conference. Like every team does that. There's no other team in the league, if they were in Montreal's spot right now, that wouldn't be going for it. So why would it be different for Montreal? There's always fans that don't want to ever trade prospects, don't ever want to trade draft picks. For a decade we've been hearing that. Oh no, Bill. No, don't trade the draft pick. Oh, don't trade draft. Well, enough. it's a perfect storm right now. Jeff Gordon, if we go by his past history with New York, he actually, if we went by the Gordon plan in New York, he'd last year they'd have gone for it. But um, because if you remember, it was only really a 2-year rebuild in New York, and they got a bunch of high picks, and they traded McDonough and then this and that, and had 3 first-round picks 1 year and then another. But then they traded for Adam Fox. They signed Panarin. It was only 2 or 3 years into it that they said, okay, let's go for it now. So I don't see Gordon and Hughes sitting on their hands at this point, because your window, and I've said it before, you can keep waiting. Oh, well, no, our window's not. Well, all of a sudden that window, that frame gets before you know it, these guys that were young guys aren't young anymore. And if you keep waiting, not to go through that window, before you know it, the window's closed. Like, look at Toronto, right? Window's closed. So there's not enough room for all our prospects. No. I watched the Leaf Flyer game. Ristolainen would be perfect. Red, blue, and white. Yeah, well, he's only playing against the Leafs. Smash that like if you are so inclined. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. My cheerleader. MSL would bench him. He wouldn't play. What? Oh, Olivier. Yeah, maybe. There's that too. He took a couple stupid penalties. Instigators. That'd be it. At right D, I still think they have that in-house and management wants that. I feel top 6 forward is the big target. Well, they have a right D in-house, Ken, but he's not a veteran, and I think that they you don't compete at playoff time without veteran presence on defense. Maybe Ristolainen's in that mix. That's another possibility. I mean, I've not ever been a huge Ristolainen fan, but players can evolve. Sometimes they don't figure it out till they're about 30. New York's come out like house on fire here, and then the first minute of the third period, they scored 2 goals. Perreault and Gavrikov. So don't turn out the lights quite yet on them. It's in New York, so Madison Square Garden will be alive. They'll be going nuts. You never know. Maybe there's a comeback in store here. And you know what? Olivier scored a goal tonight, so there'll be lots of people. There's going to be people tuning in, more people tuning in tomorrow too, especially to say, what about Matthew Olivier? Because he scored a goal tonight. I can just see it now. You'll probably even trend on Twitter tonight or tomorrow. Let's go back to the NHL standings. If Philly wins tonight, how far back are they? Are they going to sell for sure here? Philly, if they win, will have 67, would be 4 points out. It's one of those years. Yeah, the Canadiens, maybe they want to add, but maybe they can't, because it's just not not enough sellers. But we'll see. It's why they may have to overpay. I know fans hate to have to overpay, but it might have to. It may happen that they have to do that. I'm watching him too. Oh, he's always had the mobility, and there's a bit of grit there, but it's this. You know, Toronto's not a. I mean, you can look at one game, and you got to remember it's a unmotivated Toronto team. Like a playoff time against a really good team. Do we see the old Ristolainen? Go back and look at, minus 32, minus 45, minus. Oh my goodness. There's been a lot of growing pains with Ristolainen. Rick Bowness did something special with Columbus, yeah. I thought Columbus was further back, didn't realize they were on that kind of streak. Oh no, they are. Is Reinbacher going to be the answer it right to the rest of the year? Yeah, well, there's also. No, I mean, that's right, Wayne. There's also the. Maybe the goaltending gets looked at too, right? I don't know. If the Canadiens are going to make 2 or 3 moves here, I think something has to give over the next couple days. I think if it comes to trade deadline day and Laine still hasn't moved, then that might be a signal that there isn't going to be much movement, buying because of salary cap concerns. But I think we'll have a better idea by Tuesday or Wednesday if the Canadiens, if they've dealt Laine by then look out. Maybe something big's brewing. Leafs and Panthers have to be selling. Yeah. Well, yeah. But the Leafs aren't going to deal much with Montreal. It's a rarity. I don't see it. Agree, Grant, when it's time. It's time. East is wide open. Yeah, with Florida not, the defending 2-time champs, they aren't back. They're the only team that thought, okay, Montreal definitely can't beat. They can't get out of the East because of Florida. Was my thought going into this season, but they're not even going to have to deal with Florida. So, will Tampa be hard to beat? You bet. Yeah. Will Carolina be hard to beat? Yeah. But Montreal can hang with both of them. I really believe that. I mean, you got to hope that the goaltending is close to Vasilevsky. Carolina, I don't know, goaltending. The Bussy kid's doing great, but for the Habs put 7 past him, so maybe they have his number, right? The Habs have a lot of draft picks too. They can get rid of some prospects. Well, that's it. I'd really be fine with them trading picks as opposed to trading Reinbacher and Hage. Well, yeah, but they have more value than draft picks. Here's a wild fact. None of the teams in the Pacific would be in the playoffs if they were in the Atlantic. Vegas on top with 70 points. Crazy, eh? Matheson, Carrier, to a certain degree Dobson, I would consider veterans. Dobson, not really, no. I don't know. Not. They need another one, I think. Vegas, 14 overtime losses, 14 loser points. Yeah. Comic book countdown. He was used too high in the lineup with the Sabres as a third pairing D. He is fine. Well, it was young in his career too, eh? Don't forget. I don't know. Ask Philly fans. There's been ups and downs in Philadelphia too. Yeah. What is my opinion on Florian this season? Has he regressed from last year? Well, statistically, he's regressed, but it's the same deal for Vinny Rohrer. But if you were here earlier and saw the video, stats don't always tell the whole story. Vinny, I think what happened with Florian maybe is he put on a little too much weight in the off season, and he's not as quick as you'd like him to be. So I think that's something. Next off season, maybe lean, muscle build, get a little quicker. Well, I think because you look at the stats on, all of a sudden he was like 20, 25 pounds heavier than he was 18 months ago. I don't know that was it was the speed part of things that was probably the thing that he needed to keep improving the most, and I don't know that he's done that. Although I think his skating has improved from the start of the year, but that's maybe losing a bit of that extra poundage that he put on. Rangers, Devils, Florida, and Leafs have to be out in the East. Yeah. But I think Florida is not going to do much, Wayne, as far as, they've got to get Barkov back and have Tkachuk for a whole year. They'll presumably, do they have their first round pick this year? Maybe not, eh? But they, I don't see them doing a lot of selling because they will have full intentions of being, right back in the thick of it next year and trying to win again next year. So it's not like they're going to trade Lundell or something like that, or Listerainen, or any of those guys. I never thought Ristolainen would be a good fit before the Olympics against the Bruins. He was very good, and tonight he looked good. Yeah, well, yeah, he's playing better. Just hit the nail on the head, Grant. Liney will be a certain path for this trade deadline. I think so. I believe that's the case. Folks, I've got 1,024 at X. Come on over. I want to crack 100 here on the HabsCast. Can we not do that? And as far as the subscriptions go, I friggin' 4,490. I've been trying to get to 4,500 here for about a month. Did anybody hit the subscribe button tonight? Did we crack 4,500? Let me have a look here. Still says 4.49. Can I not get 2 people subscribing tonight? All you got to do is hit subscribe. It's not we're not asking for the world here. You won't get your credit card information, folks. Yeah. $4.49. Let's just. I want to see here if I think I was at 4,497. And I want to see if I can get to 4,500. 4,498. So 1 new subscriber. Okay, folks. Had 59 subscribers in the last month. That's 120 less than usual. If you're watching on X, hop on over, press that subscribe button. Can you do me a favor? And maybe even contribute to the chat. Tell us who you think the Habs should go after here at the trade deadline. They will have trouble in the playoffs if Montembeault is part of the goalie duo. Have to bring up Fowler. He doesn't improve soon. Need to get Evans off the penalty kill as well. MSL too stubborn. Yeah. Well, usually a team goes with one goalie at the in the playoffs. So, but yeah, I don't. If it's Dobie and he struggles, woo, and Montembeault's your the guy that you have to put in, it's going to be a short playoff, I guess, right? Maybe they look at a deal. And Wayne, yeah, 9. That's what I've been saying, and I said last night on the podcast is 9. I went through it and I said there's 9. There's 9 teams selling. That's not a lot. I hope they don't overpay for a deal. They may tweak things here and there. It's time. If they got to overpay. I'm sorry. Teams overpay every year, and it's never the Canadiens. Again, can somebody tell me when's the last time at a trade deadline that the Canadiens overpaid? It's time. They've got assets out the yin-yang. They've got the youngest team in the league. They've got maybe the best prospect crop in the league. They've got all of their high draft picks. Overpay. If you want to get what you need, overpay. I'm fine with it for the first time in 30 years. Overpay. Everyone else does it. Sometime the Canadiens got to do it. I'm tired of every year. Oh, you can't pay a little more. Oh, the future. Think of the future. Well, Canadiens are set. They can overpay and they're still set for 10 years. Like, I'm not talking, crazy overpay here. I'm not saying trade 2 first-round picks, Hage and Reinbacher for Robert Thomas. I'm not saying that. But they don't have to. They've got so many desirable assets that they can, they can offer a sweet deal that's not going to hurt their future because they could trade Hage and Zurowski and friggin' Pickford and, Beck and a first-round pick, and they still have a great future over the next decade. They do. But they're not gonna trade all those guys and maybe one first round pick, but they're at the stage where they can, they could trade Pickford and Zurowski in the first. And it's not gonna an Engstrom. And it's not gonna really harm their future. Because there may not be spots for these guys anyways. Like, it's crazy how much young talent that they have, not only on the team, but in the system, and lots of other picks too. So, I'm really not averse to them saying, okay, to get like a Thomas or whatever, a team will have to overpay a bit. Well, there's no team in a better position to overpay this year than Montreal. And the East is wide open. Colorado's come back down to earth. It's really not out of the realm of possibility of Montreal winning a cup this year. And if they got Robert Thomas, holy frig, they're really, they have to be one of the favorites in the East. They really would be. And if they got Thomas, they'd also get a veteran right defenseman. Maybe do a goalie swap of some sort. Like, if you're going for Thomas and then they probably, make that team on paper, frig, they're right there with everybody. So, yeah, we'll see. They might not do anything. Uh, they may not overpay. They may make no trades whatsoever. But I think everything's on the table here. Overpay a bit, trade one of your top five or even two of your top five prospects and a first round pick. I don't think any of that would really harm the team down the road, because it's just like the next decade you're going to have friggin' Demidov. I can go down the list here. Like Gooley's here for a decade, right? Dobson, we're getting 8 to 10 years from Dobson. Suzuki's still going to be a great player in 8 years. Caulfield will be a great player still in 8 years. Slav will be in his prime in 8 years. Robert Thomas would be a hell of a player for the next 6 to 8 years if they picked him up. Dobish is only 25. And Fowler, frig, he'll only be 31, 32 in 10 years. Hudson's for a decade is going to be prime defenseman. Gooley, on and on here. And they can always keep picking up, getting, like, look what Vegas does, right? They just keep retooling with, Montreal, once you're contenders, you can just keep every year you can get a player here and there, and you still keep that core that I just said. And I'm missing Demidov, I'm missing Kapanen. I didn't mention those guys. Like, they're not going anywhere. Well, they're going to all be freaking great for the next 8 to 10 years. So you can trade freaking Jurowski. You can trade Pickford. You can trade Engstrom, who doesn't have a spot. Matheson signed for 5 years. He can contribute for 5 years. Just Reinbacher. Did I mention Reinbacher? He could be 15 years where he's a freaking stud defenseman. They're going to get the next decade. They got Reinbacher in the lineup. So they're at the point where they can overpay, where they can get rid of some prospects, where they can trade a first-round pick for the next 5 years if they want. So I'm excited. I think anything and everything's on the table here. I think that they, if they can get a Robert Thomas, and I think that they're probably one of the few teams that really has the assets, I'd be for it. Sure. Yeah, they'll have to overpay, but frig, Robert Thomas. Now, when's the last time they had 2 80-point friggin' centers in the lineup? You got to go back to friggin', last time they won a cup, basically. Muller, Damphus, Damphus, Turgeon, whatever. You go back to the 80s. Bobby Smith. Anyway, I get the fans, but I've been hearing it. I've heard it for how long message boards been around? 26 years that I've been on them, 27, and I've seen it. Fans saying it for 27 years. Oh, I don't want can't overpay. And it made sense some years, most years, just about all the years. But right now, the situation that the Canadiens are in, the fact that the East is wide open, the fact that they're top 3 in the East, the fact that they have the youngest team in the league, the fact that their under 26 core is the best in the league, the fact that they've got all of their draft picks, the fact that they've got all sorts of good prospects in the system, it's the perfect storm. It's time. Go for it. Make some deals. And man, how friggin' crazy would Montreal be this spring if the Canadiens, win 2 playoff rounds, 3 playoff rounds, go to the Cup. I mean, the last time when they went to the Cup, fans couldn't go to the games. That I truly believe between if there would have been a full building against Tampa in that playoff series, and if Montreal would have had 11 million to spend on cap, just as Tampa did, that series was a toss up. It really was, but circumstances said otherwise, right? And they came up a little short, but this time around, I see a clear opportunity here. Like, what if Florida reloads and next year they're unbeatable, so Montreal is not in it, and then the year after Florida again, they win it. They win the East another 2 years. It's quite possible. It's quite possible. So then you're waiting 3 years down the road. That point, then Suzuki's almost 30. Some of these Matheson may be starting to slow down a bit. A couple things like that, and you never know. Like, maybe the Canadiens just never quite get over that hump. Well, this year is an opportunity to win. I'd be surprised if Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon are sitting back. No. Let's wait. I don't think that's what's going to happen here, and I hope that's not what's going to happen. I hope I convinced a couple of you that, yeah, but probably not. And that's the beauty of being a Habs fan. There's lots of different opinions. I think we have to concentrate on the 9 teams that are out for sure, barring a miracle. Probably Wayne. Thanks, Grant. Hopefully we see him quicker next camp. Yeah. I would leave Fowler in Laval, pick up a replacement for Monty. You would, Wayne? Wow. Surprised about that. Yeah, I would too, actually. I want to see Laval go on a long playoff run and Fowler do the carry. Both Patrick Roy and Carey Price, what did they do before they, went on to star for the Habs? Well, they had long playoff runs in the AHL, right? What did Ken Dryden do before he started for the Habs? He played 50 games in the AHL that season. Came up at the end of the year. So, Fowler hasn't had that much AHL experience yet. It'd be nice. Calder Cup would be nice. It'd be a nice experience for him, right? Him and Reinbacher, bring him out camp next year, and they're locked and loaded, ready to go. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Donnie, oh, you showed up. You missed. You were mentioned earlier on there, by the way. I was saying this is the last -20 night for most of us here tonight, but I said you're an exception. Thanks for the $5 donation there, Donnie. I was starting to wonder if I was going to get anybody contributing. I don't think I'm going to go much longer here, so good to see. Still haven't got another subscriber. I'm stuck at 4498. Really would like to see that at 4,500 here, folks, before I sign off. I realize that most of the people probably on the channel, or if not everyone, is already a subscriber. But I've got 1,000 that have looked in on X. Why don't a couple of you hop over to HabsCast on YouTube, hit that like button. I would like that. Or sorry, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not supposed to be advertising these guys, but you know what? Since they're supporting me this month, Next Level Hockey. Oh, Donnie just gifted another 5. Thanks, Donnie. Gifted 5 HabsCast memberships. Don, you're the man. You really are. Thank you so much for your continued generosity. And where's Sheldon Hughes been lately? I haven't seen Sheldon here. Jermaine and Sheldon, SOS. Come on back, guys. I don't know why you haven't been around lately, but hope to see you guys again soon. Michael Ryder was at the Bell Center the other night. Wonder if he can still skate. Yeah, I know, eh? Barkov makes a huge difference in Florida. Yeah, he does. Florida getting tired and old. Yes and no. I think they just like a lot of teams there. You go to a cup final 2 years in a row, just like Edmonton, right? They were 2 years in a row. They played right to 20, 25 games in the playoffs. It takes its toll after a while. Barkov's in his prime. Kachuk's in his prime. Forsling has lots of tread on the tires. You go down the list. Bennett's in his prime. I don't think that they're, there's a couple of guys getting older like Ekblad and stuff, but I don't think they're, I think they have a couple more years with Barkov back where they'll be tough to beat again. By the way, to be clear, if Thomas indeed said Montreal would be a destination you go to, then I'm all in. The overpay talk. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you like. I don't want them to overpay, tremendously for Brandon Carlo or something like that. But yeah, if it's somebody like a Thomas, and that's what I'm thinking, Glenn, you overpay if it's the right piece, You would think Thomas would love to play for the Habs. Yeah. Well, like I said to Rick last night, are there enough Tim Hortons in Montreal? Because that would be a selling point for all this talk for Ryan O'Reilly. Yeah, that'd be a selling point for Ryan O'Reilly, not Thomas O'Reilly. Sorry, getting mixed up. All this talk about Thomas would be great. Montreal still needs Ched. Yeah, well, that's why Line first domino. I could see Thomas agreeing to the Habs. They have a window that spans his contract. There you go. Can't see Thomas not waiving his no trade. Yeah. Well, you missed the podcast last night, Wayne. I said as much as I love Cappy, I would include him in a trade for Thomas. Absolutely, it's an upgrade. So, will Cappy ever be an 80-point player in the NHL? Probably not. But we know Thomas is, so. Yeah, well, White Cloud's apparently not on the. He's apparently not on the docket, from what I understand. I mean, that they'd probably, maybe you'd have to. Hey, there we go. Just got 3 subscribers. Hit the 4,500 mark. Yeah, booyah! Thank you, guys. That's much appreciated. We've been the subscribers have been slowing down of late. I think March will be a good one though, because we're getting good numbers here, and yeah, thank you for. I think we hopped up to 66 watching on YouTube, and I think maybe a couple from X came over and hit that subscribe button. Thank you very kindly. I noticed Lemieux Sports. Is that in Montreal? Somebody from Lemieux Sports was in the chat. Would you be interested in sponsoring? and New Jersey has to consider their season a disappointment. They look like they were trending upwards. Now they could be sellers. I'm surprised they haven't traded Hamilton yet. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of sponsors, I got to get this off here first. But quickly here, I know I'm only supposed to plug these guys. The agreement is on game night, but hey, I'm a nice guy. If you sponsor, I'm going to give you as much, I'm going to give you as much promotion as possible. Mike Bonin Country. I'm going to stop saying his name. Mike from Next Level Hockey. Great guy. Instagram is Next Level Hockey. Go to their website, www.nextlevel-hockey.com. Check it out. You've got a young, aspiring a player at home, or one, or your nephew, your niece, or whatever. Go check these guys out. They're in Montreal. They help develop Owen Beck among many other aspiring NHL prospects. They do great stuff. So go check it out. You get a chance. If you've got a young hockey player at home there, and you think maybe this summer or whatever, get a little bit of guidance, bit of training, Next Level Hockey. It's in the name. Okay, I got to do this. Back to the comments. I'm fine with Cappy for Thomas. Well, yeah. I love Cappy, but it'd be worth it to get Thomas, sure. But also, like I down the middle with Suzuki, Thomas, Kapanen as your first three centers wouldn't look too bad either, right? Like, would I, if they say, well, we'll take Zurowski, would I trade Zurowski instead of Kapanen? Probably, but maybe that's just me. But centers are so vital. But you think, looking at it, they want a good young center back. If they're trading 26-year-old center, they want one back. So they'd ask for Hage, maybe have to settle for Kapanen, even though, again, there's no guarantees that Hage will be better than Kapanen, but there looks to be a little more, offensive upside there. Will he ever be as good defensively? I don't know, but value-wise, I mean, if you included Hage, as I've said before, I wouldn't want to give up much more. But if you include Kapanen, he may not have as much value. I don't know. So anyway, I would if it came down to Jurowski or Kapanen, I'd trade Jurowski because you're going for it now, right? Crappy can help you now. These playoffs, Jurowski won't be able to help for 3 or 4 years. I don't think. Cappy can be part of that for the next 3 or 4 years. You know, they want if they're going for it this year, trading Cappy. Well, you're hurting this team. Getting Thomas is good, but then you still got Deneau, you still got Suzuki, Thomas, Deneau, Evans down the middle. There's still not much size there. Cappy's at least 6'2". You bring some size. You still soft down the middle. Are those 4 centers going to win you a cup? Undersized for the most part. Deneau is not undersized, but he plays like he's 5'11". I don't know. I think your odds of having a successful playoff are better with Cappy in that lineup along with Thomas. You don't have a third line center that I think can. Third line center is very important playoff time. And is Jake Evans a third line center on a cup contender? Not for me. All this talk about Thomas would be great, but Montreal still needs to shit. Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, already did that one. You would think Thomas would love to play for the Habs, most exciting team in the NHL. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm going over a few. Donnie McCaskill for the win. Yeah. Donnie is one generous dude. Edmonton and Florida may have hit the wall harder than anyone expected. 100-plus game seasons can take a toll. Yep. Yeah, no, I was joking about that. I know there's Tim Hortons everywhere in Quebec. I know. The Rangers did come back, eh? You know, I had a weird feeling because I can recall a Rangers team that was down. Was it 5-0 to the Habs? And came back and won it 6-5. I still got scars from that one. So when they scored 2 goals in the first minute, it's in Madison Square Garden, third period. Thinking, oh, that brings back some memories. So I'm not surprised. Rangers came back and tied it up. How about Ristolainen? Raymond, are you coming in late to the party, my friend? We had a good discussion about Ristolainen. Yep, he's definitely someone that has to be considered, and could be that we see Mr. Ristolainen in the mix. Philadelphia's 4 points out. If they win tonight, last I checked, they were still tied. I don't know. Are they going to be sellers? That's the other thing, right? Maybe not. I think do they not have a bunch of draft picks too? So it's not like they have to, they drafted a whole bunch of high. The last 2 drafts, they had a pile of high picks. They've been on the rebuild here, so let's just see. I'm curious. Oh, I hate this Cloudflare verify thing. Buzz off. All right, so 2026, they got the first, second, third. Oh, they're actually a little shy. But 2027, they've got 2 firsts. including Toronto for the Scott Laughton trade. Friggin' Toronto, man. What a joke of a franchise. Now there's talks that maybe Armstrong will end up being their next GM for them. Congrats on the 4,500. Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. We're only, I don't think we've cracked, oh, okay, we cracked 70 people here at the, on YouTube. Regarding shedding Liney's contract, hypothetically, if Kent and the Blues had a deal in place, Kent would approach a team with a boatload of cap space and give that team an incentive to free things up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, maybe it's even a three-way trade, right? That's true. Love to be a fly on the wall in Hugo's office. Oh, Jesus. It will be on Habs TV, Crave TV if they make a big splash. Yeah, but not live. Let's hope Deneau goes nuclear in the playoffs, same as last year. True. You did have a big playoff. Byfield. Charlie Coyle is a big center that you could get cheap with a low cap hit. Seems to get dealt every playoff pretty much. The Metro's still pretty open. I don't see Philly being a big seller. No, I don't. Gotta run. Thank you for the chat, everyone. Grant, as always, another great show. Thanks, Mark. Not sure if it was mentioned Laine is traveling with the team. Maybe he play in LA, or if not traded, or he just wants to be already in LA for the trade. Yeah, really, eh? That would be something. When was the last time the Habs were involved in a three-way deal? The Petrie one. Yeah. They've had a couple. I can't necessarily think of them right offhand, but all right, folks. Whenever Mark runs, I got to run. The young lad came home a little while ago. He hasn't been home for a few days. Got to give him the dungeon back here. Gino, you got to join us. You got to join us in the live chat here, my friend. Line A to the Kings. Yes, that would be just grand. All right, Dennis Bernstein tomorrow. I think what I'll do is I'll record the interview, and then come back on here 7 or 8 o'clock. That's a good time to do it, right? People are home. We get a bigger live audience, and I'll do a pregame Habs show. Does that sound good, folks? Oh, Zephyr Cave doesn't have to run, but close to it. You're quite a man, Zephyr Cave. Columbus are not sellers. They're just beating the Bruins. They have a few games against them. Oh, being the Bruins. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Laine's on the Western trip to save time, joining a Western team. That's right. And it was mentioned. Thanks, Grant. Hope we do things right before the deadline, whatever that might be. Can't wait to hear Dennis tomorrow. Should be interesting. Great show tonight, Grant. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, well, if he's got something really earth-shattering, maybe I'll put it up earlier. But 7, 8 o'clock, look for a pregame show. We'll probably know the lineups. Behind the Bruins. Okay. And we'll do another primetime HabsCast. Sound good? All right, folks. Primetime, pregame and postgame. Wow. Should be fun. All right. Go Habs, go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for getting me over the 4,500 subscribers. Keep subscribing. We need that. We need to get to 5,000. It's been this, I got up to 4. I went from 2 to 4 from September till now, or till January, pretty quickly. It's going from 4 to 5,000. We're struggling for that one, so keep on subscribing if you haven't already, and keep hitting that like button. I think I had close to 200 last night, which is fantastic, and keep cheering for the Habs. Okay, thank you, everyone. Good night. Hope to see you tomorrow.